And we know that Jamaica and Cuba are in fact more than neighbors. For many years, we in Jamaica have enjoyed our own special relationship with Cuba, and it's naturally very exciting for us now to welcome that country as a new tourist destination in the Caribbean region and as a new partner in developing initiatives to grow the region's tourism industry. And I want to pause to make the point that new is defined in terms of what portends for the future, not that Cuba is a new destination, because I must advise that Cuba's stopover rivals that of many of us in the Caribbean, and indeed is just about 200,000 below what DOMREP is, and it's a little over 300,000 above what we are. So Cuba is really very well established as a destination in the Caribbean in the context of how it has functioned over time. But most of the discussions that we've been having has been more in relation to Cuba and the greatest and the most prolific and the most wealthy market in the world, the United States of America. And from the point of view that Cuba does not get any visible tourism inflows from the United States of America, to have them in that realm with us is how we are looking at them in the context of new. So the potential of this partnership then will become more and more evident as we map out the way forward. Collaboration between Jamaica and Cuba can clearly be mutually beneficial, especially as we seek to grow our respective tourism industries. As you may know, the Prime Minister led a team to Cuba and held extensive talks earlier this year with Cuba's President Raul Castro and other officials during a formal 3-day visit to Havana. I was privileged to be one of the ministers accompanying Prime Minister Golding on the visit to Cuba, along with Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Kenneth Baugh, the Minister of Health, the Honorable Rudyard Spencer, the Minister of Water and Housing, Dr. the Honorable Horace Chang, and the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. the Honorable Christopher Tufton. President Castro arranged for our counterparts to be present at these meetings, and that is the context in which we had those discussions, and I had discussions with my counterpart. I was also lucky, and this is by way of sheer coincidence of timing, to be present at the Cuba Tourism Fair, the equivalent to our JPEX here. And I must tell you that I was really totally blown away by the interest in destination Cuba that I saw from the media, and indeed just the sheer number of media personnel who were there and showing interest in it was easily 3-4 times what we get here in Jamaica. So tourism was naturally on the agenda because Cuba clearly has so much to offer in terms of expanding and diversifying the region's tourism product. The fact is, however, that Jamaica has long been a dominant player in regional tourism, especially in respect of the US market, and as such has expertise that we believe can help Cuba in growing, promoting, and managing its tourism. One of the areas we're exploring with great enthusiasm is the possibility of multi-destination marketing. This is a mechanism that enables visitors to purchase a package vacation that combines visits to both Jamaica and Cuba. In our recent talks, we discussed the importance of collaboration between the governments of Jamaica and Cuba on a number of other issues. In particular, both countries feel it's imperative that we look at ways of securing our territorial boundaries. We will be working together to maintain the safety of both nations. Our joint effort will, of course, be designed for the protection of all residents and all visitors. Let's now take a look at the enormous growth and value of tourism. I'd like to present a few statistics that illustrate the importance of tourism to the economy. Firstly, at the global level, and secondly, within the Caribbean region, and thirdly, in Jamaica itself. In the global context, according to the World Travel and Tourism Council, WTTC, tourism is the world's leading business. It is currently worth more than $8 trillion and is forecast to increase to $15 trillion by 2015. There were 898 million international arrivals in 2007, representing a 6.5% growth per year over the past 50 years. It was the fourth consecutive year of growth that the industry globally was experiencing. And how was it broken out? In the Middle East, they in fact led with an estimated 13% increase. And the Asia-Pacific region was up 10%, followed by Africa up 8%. And the Americas saw a growth of 5%, while Europe grew by 4%. International tourism receipts total some $733 billion in 2006. Tourism represents approximately 35% of the world's export of services and over 70% in the least developed countries. And the forecast by the United Nations World Tourism Organization, the UNWTO, is for a 1.6 billion arrivals for the period up to 2020. And this is very significant indeed. The Caribbean region is among the most heavily tourist dependent in the world. The WTTC statistics indicate that Caribbean tourism accounts for nearly 15% of the GDP and almost 13% of employment, with approximately 2 million jobs. Tourism represents some 18.2% of the region's export earnings, which means that 1 in every $5 earned in the region is from tourism.